Hello, everybody. Greeny welcome to the Priyanka Neela Krishnan Show. Episode 19, and today's topic is your AI agent has root. Nobody decided that. Agents inherit access no one would ever give a person. Here's how to take it back. Let's get into it. Somewhere in your company right now, there is an AI agent with more access than you have. Nobody sat in a meeting and decided that. It just happened. One shortcut at a time. I am Priyanka Neela Krishnan. I'm an enterprise data security product leader, author, and speaker. Some of my books include Autonomous Data Security, Jailbreaking LLMs, Problem Pioneering. I build security products for a living, and today I want to talk about the quietest risk in enterprise AI. Not the model, the access. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. Your agents have root, and no one decided that on purpose. Let me show you how this actually goes. An engineer needs to build an agent that summarizes support tickets. Reasonable, right? Useful also. Everyone wants it. To make it work fast, they grab the service account that is already sitting there, the one with read access to the entire CRM. They wire it up, the demo works, everyone is happy, and the team moves on to the next thing. And that is the whole crime scene. The account stays. The agent keeps it. 6 months later, that agent and anyone who can hijack it can read every customer record in the company. No one approved that. No one reviews it. It just persists. The access outlived the reason for the access, and nobody is watching. Here is why this keeps happening. Least privilege. The whole idea that you only get the access you need was designed for humans. Think about how a person gets access at work. You ask for it, someone reviews the request, you get it. And when you leave, IT removes it, hopefully. There is a life cycle around it, and there is a human in the loop at a minimum at every step. Agents break every one of those assumptions. An agent is a non human identity. It gets bored standing credentials on day one. You ask, you get. Because wiring up narrow ones is more work. So, broad credentials, day one, easy, you get your work done. And those credentials never expire because no one owns the agent and no one is reviewing it. So you end up with an identity that has wide access, no owner, no review, and no end date. That is not a productivity tool, that is a liability with an API key. I do not want this to sound like a hunch, so let me give you the numbers. First, 70% of organizations grant their AI systems more access than they would give a human doing the exact same job. That is the 2026 Infrastructure Identity Survey. Read it again. More access than a person for the same work. Second, non-human identities now outnumber humans inside the enterprise by about 144 to 1. For every employee, there are roughly 144 machine identities, and the agents are the fastest growing slice of that. Third, and this is the one I would put in front of your CISO, teams that actually enforce least privilege for agents report a 17% incident rate. Teams that do not report 76%. Same threat, wildly different outcome, one control. So, how does a helpful little agent turn into a standing liability? 3 ways, and they stack. 1. Privilege drift. Agents pick up access to get a task done, and that access is never taken away. Every unused permission just sits there as a permanent standing privilege, always available, always exploitable the moment the credential is stolen. 2. Shared secrets. Roughly 46% of teams use shared API keys for agents to talk to each other. So when something goes wrong, you cannot even tell which agent did it. You have lost attribution before the investigation starts. 3. No owner and no review. Most agents are deployed by engineering, not security. No onboarding, no access review, no entry in the identity inventory. And no owner means no accountability. When the incident happens, there is nobody whose job is worse to catch it. Here is the shift I want you to make. Stop thinking about the agent as a feature you shipped and start thinking about it as an identity you onboarded. Because if you cannot answer who approved this access, who used it, and what data it touched, you do not have an agent. You have a ghost with credentials walking around your environment. Every agent needs the same 4 things a person gets: its own credential, a named human owner, a permission set scope to the actual task, and a clock that takes the access away when the work is done. The questions your auditors ask about employees have to have answers for agents too. Same rigor, just a much faster cadence. Because agents move in milliseconds, not weeks. You might be thinking, fine, but is this urgent or is this a someday problem? It is urgent, and here is why. Gartner projects that 40% of enterprise applications will have task-specific agents embedded in them in 2026. Last year, that number was under 5%. The agents are arriving faster than anyone's controls. And the standards bodies know it. In February 2026, NIST Center for AI Standards opened a formal initiative on agent identity and authorization, specifically because the existing frameworks were never built to say how an agent gets authenticated, how its permissions get scoped, or how its actions get logged. Sit with that. The people who write the rules are now drafting them for a problem most companies have already shipped into production. The horse is out and they are designing the barn door right now. This is the reality we are in. Well, so what do you actually do? 4 moves, and none of them are exotic. 1. Give every agent its own identity. No shared service accounts, no shared keys. 1 agent, 1 credential, 1 named owner. Attribution starts here, and without it, nothing else works. And number 2, scope to the task. Default to 0 standing privilege. Grant the narrow permission the task needs and nothing inherited from whatever convenient account was lying around. 3. Put a clock on it. Just-in-time access that exists for the length of the job and revokes itself the moment the job is done. If the credential does not exist between tasks, it cannot be stolen between tasks. 4. Close the loop. When access goes unused or an owner leaves, remediate it automatically. Detection without revocation is just a nicer looking incident report. The point is to actually take the access back. Well, I want to leave you with a reframe because I think we are asking the wrong questions about agents. Everyone is asking, is this agent smart enough to trust? That is the wrong question. The right question is, what happens when it goes wrong? What happens when it is wrong? What happens when it is stolen? Because the goal was never a perfectly behaved agent, there is no such thing. The goal is an agent whose blast radius is small enough that a bad day stays a small day. I repeat, the goal is an agent whose blast radius is small enough that a bad day stays a small day. Trust is not about how good the agent is, it is about how little damage it can do when it is not.